Climate change doesn't bother me or anyone I know. So why should I care? So I live in a big city in Canada. Sometimes we get hotter summers here, but I don't need to farm, and I don't live next to the ocean. Why am I supposed to worry about carbon clogging up the atmosphere? I personally am not responsible for the people suffering in India or South America or the Middle East right now. I don't even know anybody who lives there, and I've never traveled to those places myself. This is true. The problem is that the planet isn't aware that we have divided it up into countries or even continents. And the Earth is just one gigantic system where every part is connected to every other. Our oceans are actually one huge, massive body of water enveloping every piece of land, from Alaska to Nova Scotia to New York, down to California, to Peru, to Portugal, to the UK, to South Africa, to Pakistan, to Norway, to Siberia, to the Koreas, to Japan, to New Zealand, to Hawaii, to Jamaica. You get the idea. Water travels, air travels. This planet is one massive living, working organism or system, and one part affects all other parts, whether it's immediately or eventually, whether for better or for worse. We may not personally notice huge changes right at this moment in our natural world, but we already see the social effects of global warming. More immigrants and refugees due to worsening farming and living conditions, and from the scarcity of resources and food that follows. The rise of the fear of foreigners, poverty, violence, and war. Without any mitigation, within the next 10 to 15 years, the rate of warming is predicted to keep increasing exponentially, with new and extreme events that people are just not prepared for. For example, the ice covering the Antarctic is already starting to melt, and it is releasing the methane gas trapped underneath the frozen ground there. Methane is also a greenhouse gas, just like carbon dioxide. So it's actually going to be adding to the warming effect. The more of it is released, and it's going to dramatically speed up the warming. And we know that green plants absorb a lot of CO2, carbon dioxide, from the air as well. But if forest fires are burning down plants and trees faster than they can grow, this becomes another factor for the increasing rate of the warming. And this is not to mention how animal species are getting affected as well. Insect populations migrating or overbreeding or dying out altogether. And as parts of the Amazon rainforest and the Great Barrier Reef and the Arctic get irreparably destroyed, that means forever, certain species that live there now and nowhere else in the world will die out completely. And we don't even have any idea of knowing how that may affect us down the line. We are in an ecosystem with all these things and creatures. Knock one thing out of balance, whether on purpose or not, the consequences are identical, and the rest will adjust and keep adjusting until there's some sort of new equilibrium. And even if this new equilibrium or balance doesn't include human extinction in our lifetimes, there would still be massive famine, poverty, disease, and war, as groups and nations scramble for livable land and food and